Hello, this is Attorney Brian Pendergraft, and I just thought I would shoot a quick video on this legal notice that I saw an apartment complex sent their tenants, and it's floating around on social media, and people are pretty upset about it. They're pretty angry about it, and I believe rightfully so, actually. So that said, again, my name is Brian Pendergraft, and I'm a local Maryland real estate attorney with the Pendergraft firm LLC, and I do a lot of landlord tenant cases. And from my perspective, this is I guess, a very bad letter for a landlord to send tenants that may be suffering a loss of income due to COVID-19. So I'm going to go through this letter. I'm going to explain what I think is bad about it and what I think can be a much better letter, because I understand the landlord's concern. I think it's a legitimate concern to make sure that 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 they're still getting paid. But I think that there is a right way to go about it and a wrong way to go about it. And this letter is definitely the wrong way. And I'm going to try to see if I can show you guys a better way of going about it. So all right, so let's see if I can. I'm going to read through this letter really quickly, and then I'm going to, again, go through what I think is bad. So, March 30th, 2020, attention to all Glenwood Garden residents. Please continue to pay your rent on time. Rent is due on April 1st and late fee after April 5th. Late fees will be applied if you pay on the 6th or any day after. Court fees and warrant fees will be applied, and eviction filings will continue. As soon as Maryland courts reopen, we will conduct our evictions. If you have not paid your rent, unfortunately, you will be evicted. Um, Now, what's wrong with this? Let's get into it. So, first, I don't even think what they're saying is necessarily true. I think in the I think that this letter is misleading, and it may mislead tenants on their on what their legal rights actually are. So here's what I mean. So even when the courts open back up, tenants may still be protected by tenants suffering a loss of income due to COVID-19 may be protected by the government. They may still be protected by the governor's emergency order protecting tenants suffering a substantial loss of income due to COVID-19. So it's possible that in interim, it's possible that a new order or future order will be passed providing Maryland residents even further relief. If I were a tenant and I received this notice, the first thing I would do is attempt to run to the office of the Attorney General's office, because I think that this could possibly be construed as unfair debt collection practice. Essentially, you're essentially threatening tenants with with an eviction in order to get them to pay rent. And again, I read this language very carefully, and it says right in the second paragraph, unfortunately, you will be evicted. So again, that they may be misleading tenants as to what their rights actually are. And that is definitely the wrong way to go about it. So if I was a tenant, the first thing I would do is run to the Attorney General's office with this notice. And the second thing, which this brings me to my second point, and the second thing that I would do is I would take this notice straight to the governor's office, because I think what this letter does, it essentially directly goes against the spirit of the order that Governor Hogan passed. So he he passed this order essentially, so because he wants Marylanders to stress less and to worry less, and he wants land. And if landlords continue to send letters like this, I will not be surprised if this is directly addressed by the governor in a future order. I mean, these updates are he's passing new orders every day, it seems. So and amending orders too. Um, and amending orders. So again, I think this is a very bad notice for a landlord to send. Now, I do understand a landlord's concern and making sure that they get paid. So if I was hired to, I guess, write a letter like this, here's how I would do it. So I guess here's a good example of what I think. Now, and again, this is just kind of like a rough draft or an outline. So I didn't actually like write a letter. I just kind of did a rough draft or an outline of how I would do it. So, and again, so my objective would be to again, I wouldn't necessarily be trying to threaten tenants into paying rent, but I would let them know that in fact, no, let me just hop into my letters. Now I'll explain it as I go along. So notice the heading. So notice the tenant suffering loss of income due to COVID-19. Please let us know ASAP so we can work out solutions. All right. So the purpose of this letter is that essentially I would want them to admit, or I would want the ones who are suffering a COVID-19, I need them to come to me and let me know and be forthcoming. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm not threatening them with eviction. I'm letting them know, like, look, you're suffering loss of income. Please come to me so we can work out solutions. Because what I'm trying to do, what I'm attempting to do with this letter is I'm attempting to separate the people who can't afford to pay rent and the people who can afford to pay rent. So the first thing I'm going to say is for tenants suffering a substantial loss of income, so the first sentence here says, for tenants not suffering substantial loss of income due to COVID-19, please disregard this notice. All right. So I want them to, I want them to just continue paying rent as usual. I'm not going to put that in the notice, though. I'm just going to tell them disregard this notice, and I'm going to assume or give them the benefit of the doubt that they're just going to keep paying rent. All right. That's what I'm hoping for. Crossing my fingers, hoping that it happens. I'm not going to write that in the letter, keep paying rent as usual, because I don't want people to be under the impression that they don't have to pay rent. Now, for tenants suffering, go to my second sentence. For tenants suffering a loss of income due to COVID-19, Governor Hogan's April 3rd order makes it clear that tenants are not relieved from their obligation to pay their landlords. So I want to make it clear that they still have an obligation to pay me. I'm looking out for my, for my landlord client's interests. That would be one of the first things that I want to do. After doing that, I would want to insert some sort of acknowledgement of the bad times that we are in. So you don't seem like a heartless landlord that's just trying to evict people for not paying rent. All right. You don't want to do that. You don't want to seem that way. You don't want to piss the governor off and and ruin things for all landlords like that last letter just did, because that last letter it ruined things for y'all. We don't want to do that. All right. We want to, again, so what I'm going to say is, if you are suffering a substantial loss of income due to COVID-19, please contact us. We would like to attempt to divert taking legal action. Let tenants know that we're looking to work with you. All right. We want to work with you. That's what we're telling them. So please fill out this attached form to explain how your income has been impacted by COVID-19 and send us proof of the reason, such as a letter from an employer saying that they can no longer afford you due to COVID-19. Now, the reason why I've included this, I would include a statement like this in my notice, is that, in order to evict tenants that are tenants that are suffering a loss of income due to COVID-19, well, you're not going to be able to evict them, it seems, for the indefinite future. So what you want to do is you want to figure out who those people that you cannot evict are. You want to figure out who they are. So you want them to provide you with proof that they are suffering a loss of income due to COVID-19. Now, the reason why you're asking them to provide you with proof is because that is essentially the legal requirement under Hogan's order. In order for a tenant to avoid an eviction due to COVID-19, they have to provide the burden of proof is on the tenants to provide the proof. Now, why file against tenants and wait to figure that out in court when you could just figure that out beforehand before going to court, and then you can attempt to work out some sort of solution with them. Maybe you can do a sort of an abatement, or I don't know, maybe some early termination, or maybe some sort of payment plan, or perhaps you can do some sort of a forbearance plan or whatever. Because the thing is that you want to make it clear that you are working with them, and again, you want to be strategic, right? Even if you want to be the heartless landlord that wants to get tenants out of there, again, that's not how you do it. You have to be a lot more I guess tactful than what was done in this notice here. So hopefully I provided you with some good guidance on what a letter should look like, and what you should not be doing, and kind of what you should be doing. And again, what you want to do, to reiterate, is that you really want